Alright, I thought I'd try and multitask and record a video while I was giving the ferrets some time out of the cage. It's going well so far. So yeah, it's not... Are you done? Yeah, it's not a proper Yorkshire electronics video without ferrets. So yeah, there they are. They're probably going to make a lot of noise, and I probably should have waited till later to record this, but that would require planning. Yeah, I want to show you this. I'm just going to show you. Look at this. Look at how cool this is. Yeah, I've mounted all the stuff. This is the same modules from the previous video, but look, it's all mounted on a panel. So yeah, I wanted to quickly talk about how to do this, because I kind of I wasn't sure. I ummed and ahed about how to panel mount this. So I actually do have a thing. The ferrets are making noise again. Can we see them? Yeah, I have this that I've had this a few months now. That a friend of mine, well, some friends of mine, kindly gave me this kit to make this little. It's a little stereo valve preamp. I'm just kind of watching him out the corner of my eye to make sure he doesn't crap in the corner. Yeah. So and with this, I ended up mounting it, as you can see. So this is acrylic sheet, and I basically. There's a website. I'll link to the one I used. I chose them fairly arbitrarily, but I've bought a few bits from them now, and it's always been fine. So I'm happy to send some people their way. But yeah, you basically give them the dimensions for each sheet, and they've got a load of colours. I quite like the clear coloured kind of ones, and they have some of these neon colours. And yeah, so with this one. Obviously, with the valves being quite tall, I had to use quite a few standoffs. So it's not particularly neat, but it does the job. And this thing's quite amusing, and kind of adds valve sound. So yeah, I thought I'd give that a go, because obviously those boards of mine are designed to be mounted to some kind of panel. That's why they were laid out with all the controls kind of the way they are, so that you could basically mount it to a panel using the pots and sockets. And excuse me 1 second. All the pots and sockets kind of will hold it to the panel. What are you doing down there? I've got mischief occurring. Yeah, so I'm going to plough forward. So yeah, basically what I did is I took the board layout things from Eagle. So when you design your board in your, well, it's certainly in Eagle. I assume it's the same for other like CAD software. You do a board layout, which is what you're eventually going to turn into your Gerber files to send off to be manufactured. So I just Eagle will allow you to export those as a JPEG. So I exported all of my board layouts brought them into. In my case, I just brought them into Photoshop because it's what It's I'm familiar with Photoshop. I'm not. That's not necessarily the best thing to do it in, but it worked for me. I then made a layout in Photoshop with all of the various modules on there. And I did it on like you created an A4 size document, laid them out on there, printed that out. You can get off there, if I can get you off there without getting massacred. Come on. No, no. Oh. They're cuties really, but... Oh, ow. No, 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 play nice. Play nice. I'm definitely going to get bitten in a second. Yeah, oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, you can go back on the floor. What was I saying? Layout. So, yeah, laid them all out, printed it out eventually, and checked that it was kind of, that I'd done it right, so I kind of got my layout and just put, the actual boards I've got left over, laid them on top of the piece of paper I printed it on, to make sure everything was real size. I then ordered 2 A4 sheets of this lovely neon green acrylic. I taped, I just used sellotape to put the layout design on top of one of the sheets, and measured all the components that I knew would need a hole. I just I ended up just having a ruler with me and just measured them as I went along. But you could probably just know what they are. Don't you make a mess in that corner. Yeah, obviously if you already know what they are, you don't need to measure them. So then got the right drill bits. So I think I basically had, off the top of my head, I think I maybe had some 7mm, some 6mm, and some 5mm, and then used a desktop pillar drill, and just drilled the holes through the, lined them up with the printed out kind of layout and drilled them. I don't have any real in-depth knowledge on drilling stuff. I don't have any real in-depth knowledge on anything, but I basically just, not too much pressure, just kind of kept it steady, relatively slow for each hole, and yeah, they've come out quite neat. I actually drilled too many holes because I figured that these ones, I have these configured just as a single oscillators instead of dual oscillators, so it means I miss out some components. But I figured I might want to put a dual oscillator in there at some point, so I drilled the holes anyway. But you can kind of see that the holes are actually pretty clean. In fact, it's difficult to see on that on there, but you can maybe see it a bit. In real life, they come out pretty good. I probably didn't actually need to drill holes for the LEDs. I have done, but let's see, have we got an LED? Can we see an LED in that side? Yeah, you can kind of see one. If we can focus it, just in here. Basically what I'm getting at is they're not deep enough to need a hole. They would actually sit under the perspex. So if you're using transparent or even semi-transparent perspex, you can probably get away with not drilling a hole for LEDs. So I really thought that this would add some kind of excitement and an interest to the video, but actually it's just really distracting. But it's fine, everything's fine. So what was I talking about? Yeah, okay, so I have used I think 3mm acrylic, and actually for the top panel I maybe needed slightly thinner because these Thonkicon kind of sockets here, there's just not quite enough thread coming through. So most of them there was enough thread to get the nuts to bite, but like these two here, there's just not enough. So if I could, maybe next time I'm going to use, if I can get 2.5 or 2mm. I'm slightly concerned it might be slightly too flexible if it's 2mm. But what I've done that you can see better on the back now, I've used 8 standoffs, and I just to do that I just taped the sheets together carefully and drilled through both. And that you really need to take your time if you're drilling through 2, because at the point where it gets through the first one, it kind of, if you're pushing too hard, it can kind of snap through and do what I've done here and break the corner off. So in my case, it's not that bad because I can still, you know, I've still put the end on and it's fine. That would have been annoying if it had been like in the middle somewhere. So I've used 8 here, and I literally, I didn't actually measure these or anything. I just put them in where I thought it looked like they could use one. So there's probably, because the standoffs are the only thing that's keeping them apart and from pushing around in various places. So like this stretch from here to here, that's a bit bendy in the middle. So maybe those ones, maybe it could have used some, I don't know, like there and there. But it's kind of worked out all right, and to use, it's great because when you're plugging stuff in and out, I know this is really obvious because this is just how all gear works now, but compared to how when I just had it loose, just stuff goes just in and out. I don't feel like I'm putting too much force on there. Like when you plug in, you're not really bending it that much, the acrylic that is. So that's good. It's a slight pain because once you start patching stuff, it kind of covers the controls you need to use. But this was kind of, it was kind of supposed to be a bit silly. I don't know. And it's my first one. I'm still weighing up what my next move is, and it may be that I do something different. I've kind of been looking at how other people do similar things, and there's a bunch of products out at the minute that'll have like just a little patching area at one side. But then to do that kind of removes the modular side of it. Like my kind of vision for this is that you can just use the modules you want to build a little desktop thing. So I'm going to think about that. Other things that I need to do, I'm using the same kind of power bus that they're just handmade power bus on strip board. I didn't actually leave room for that. That was deliberate. But I guess if I do this again, I need to get some boards made. I'm just going to design a power bus board, maybe stick a regulator in it. That is really unhelpful. Are you going to stop? Are you going to stop? Are you going to stop? No? No. They like noisy things. They like things that do that. Right. Come here. Are you going to come and say hello? Hey? No, are you going to play and then bite me? Inconclusive. So yeah. So where do we go from there? I evidently can't count, which is why I have one different knob on there. I really like these clear knobs. I think they look quite neat with the transparent perspex. So yeah, I was talking about power. I need a power bus board. I kind of think I need these kind of mixer. These ones definitely didn't need another revision. The fact that this runs at 5 volts, you can't see what I'm pointing at because I'm not holding it up. These ones need another revision because these are the kind of 4-into-1 combiners. This delay runs at 5 volts, which is slightly problematic, so I'm going to have a look if there's anything I can do about that. My filters, I think I need to mess around with capacitor values to try and get a better sound from them. I also need to put a decoupling capacitor either on the input of the filter or on the output of everything else. The sequencer kind of works alright, but I think I need to I need to use different value pots on that. The oscillators kind of well, I'm kind of happy with the oscillators. I maybe need to add some trim pots for calibration, and think a bit more about values, and also figure out a proper bypass for oscillator 2, because this bypass slightly bypasses it but not quite. What's this called? This is the shift register module. Works fine, but I think I just need to change the layout because that knob there is slightly too close to everything else to be comfortable. So I just need to make it a bit bigger. I can. Oh wow, you're going. Someone has definitely made a mess somewhere. I can smell it. How good. It's fine. Continue. So yeah, so I need to do a version 2 basically, but version 1, I mean, you know, it makes some cool sounds and it looks neat. Where has my power lead gone? It's not that one. My workbench looks like a workbench of someone who uses it a lot. There we go. So here's some power. So kind of, it looks pretty good when all of this is going. The light kind of, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it very well, but the light travels to the edge of the acrylic. If I can make it slightly darker. So as you're using it, it's kind of cool. It kind of like lights up. I think it's quite striking. I think if I'm going to try and take this out to some gigs, and I usually get asked about the gear I'm using because it's all stuff that I've made, so it's obviously stuff that people haven't seen. I think this is quite striking and probably get people talking, which is good, because I think I want to start taking this building a bit more seriously, and maybe build some of these, or build a few more prototypes, and then maybe actually start building and selling some of these, because, you know, I think this is pretty cool. Are we gonna do some sound demos? I mean, I've done sound demos before. I think I'll do a separate video and do some more sound examples. I just wanted to talk to you again about this because this is really cool. How are you guys doing? What do you think of it? Indifferent. Oh, bless you. So yeah, that's that for now. I will post another video soon with some sound demos of this, and yeah, I'm gonna go and see what exciting presents these two idiots have left me in some corner of the room.